Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, Rising Tide. Beyond Earth was actually the first Civilization game that I bought on launch, and I never really went back to play Rising Tide. I was a little bit disappointed with this game when it came out. I had fun with it, but there was something just a little off. I could never make the chew of playing this game feel very good, you know? Now I have a few mods here. I will not be using Codex, but I installed some what I consider to be sort of quality of life mods, right? So you can get unlimited experience from aliens, fighting aliens. We have the Explorer upgrades, which allows us to upgrade the survivability of explorers and increase their late game usefulness. Visually distinctive terrains, which is a nice upgrade to how the terrains look. There are some really cool mods for this game, and I've slowly become like mod pilled, where I wanna sit down and actually make my own mods. So let's go ahead and set up a game here. Now so the way that Civ Beyond Earth works is that you pick a loadout, which is like, this is such a cool idea. Like, I love this. You get to basically construct a civilization, which is a really cool idea. So like, you could start with Australia, which has more trade routes in their capital and extra trade routes in all their other cities, right? This is a very powerful bonus. It allows you to do a lot of trading early, a lot of really cool stuff you can do at Australia. And the thing that I really like about these sponsor bonuses is almost every single one of them allows you to break a rule. And what I mean by that is, like, so Franco-Iberia, for example, it's like, you get an extra virtue every 10 virtues that you earn with culture, which is kind of cool. It's like you get extra virtues. That you kind of break the rule of how fast you're supposed to get virtues, which makes, culture a lot more valuable. The Kavithan Protectorate makes it a lot cheaper to expand your borders, right? You're kind of breaking the rule of how borders expand. The Slavic Federation, all their strategic resources for their orbital units are a lot, like, they're reduced. The North Sea Alliance, they can move their cities for 50% the price of other cities when they're on the water. Integer is all about, like, having really cheap diplomatic agreements. Brazilla is all about, like, using military. The African Union is like, grow, and use specialists. This is all, like, really, really cool ideas going on in here. I do just think that Australia is the most overpowered one. It's like the clearly strongest one. Now, Arc is also reasonably powerful. The 30% faster covert operations, if you do a spy agency rush, allows you to, like, steal so much money from the AI that it's actually crazy. I'm a big fan of the Australians. I used to love the Franco-Iberians. I used to always play Franco-Iberia. Normally I play Australia, but today I'm going to play Arc. We can play around with these covert operations, kind of interesting things you can do there. And the second thing that you choose is a colonist perk. And I would say that scientists works really well for the covert operations rush. I do think that engineers is just flat out the best one. I think some of these are clearly better than others. They're all powerful in their own ways. I do think that engineers is just the best one, because the faster you build stuff, the production is king in every Civ game. So I always have a hard time choosing anything but engineers. I am tempted to go for scientists here in order to just play the game a little differently. I'm playing a civilization I don't normally play, so I'm going to play in a way I don't normally play. And almost always I take the Continental Surveyor or the retrograde thrusters. I used to always take the Tectonic Scanner, but I just think being able to choose where you put your first city is actually quite powerful if you know how to play the game. But I also like the scouting information of Continental Surveyor, because it allows you to rush a lot of the things. It allows you to rush the things that you can get, the resource pods. And so I think I'll go for retrograde thrusters. I like to pick where my city lands. I think that's kind of fun. There is no situation in which starting with a worker is the wrong choice. It's just like this, like, honestly, every civilization should just be given a worker. The problem is this decision is just too good that it overshadows all of them. I don't think I've ever chosen anything but worker, and I don't think I would ever tell anyone to choose anything but worker either. Now let's build a little custom world here. Let's see, we could do lush, fungal. Let's go for a fungal Terran world. I think that'll be kind of cool. Now, I just want to make sure that I want to do a massive world. I like having a real big planet. I like the idea of, like, there's lots of space between people. Let's get started. We're just going to leave all those things as they were. Okay, cool. So we have a wide variety of locations we can choose to start our capital. I do think maybe starting on this hill is nice, or right adjacent to this hill. This would get us access to that early fungus, that 3 food fungus. We would grow to the fiber. I don't think we settle on any of these tiles. Now, normally we would only be able to pick from this circle, but having a wider view range is actually really nice too. I kind of like our starting location, actually. It's kind of neat. I'm tempted to go closer to the fiber, but how much closer do I want to get? God, also the game is kind of pretty. I gotta just say that. I used to think it was ugly, but it is actually kind of pretty. I'm gonna start right here, I think. The fungus is nice. I guess if I were to move here, there's some cool cities. There is also an argument for being near the chitin. I think we start right there. We get the fungus. It's a coastal city, so we can do sea stuff. We have access to fiber. Yeah, I'm gonna go right there. And we have an explorer, and if we look around, we can actually see, here we go, here's a resource pod. So we're gonna go straight for that resource pod. We wanna pick that up. I'm gonna lock in this city, the 3 food tile, because you know, if we look at the city's growing in 8 turns versus we work a 2 food tile, we grow in 4 versus working a 3 food tile, we grow in 3. So just growing a little bit faster really adds up over time, in my opinion. And then we want to improve the tile that we're working. And if we put a plantation on it, now we're growing. Now we go from having a you know, food surplus to a big food surplus. So we'll grow even faster. And that early growth adds up. We're going to lack in terms of production for a little while in the beginning of the game. That's totally fine. We could go, since we have strong growth, we could go fast second worker and improve our production tiles a little bit quicker, which I think I will do. It's rare that I go fast second worker, and we want to get to computing as fast as possible to build our spy agency. And it might sound weird, but it could actually be a good idea for us to bounce up to chemistry so we can pick up the laboratory and then back down through either engineering or ecology. I do like bouncing down through engineering because of the thorium reactor, the repair facility, all that stuff. So I'm thinking we bounce up to chemistry, over to engineering, and down to computing. We go boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we got pretty good science here early game, thanks to our +2 science. So we will tech up a lot faster. Oh wow, what is that? That's a giant fungus. All right, let's find this resource pod. We found 23 research. Cool. And we got a quest now to find 2 resource pods. And the reason I think it's worth talking about Beyond Earth is because I think the design of Beyond Earth, the crazy thing about Civilization 7 is the design of Beyond Earth, the design of Civ 6, the design of Civ, like, every single Civilization game has had a hand in the creation of Civ 7. And that's why I think it's such a make or break game. So we won't be able to explore this fungus just yet, but we'll keep exploring. We have found alien manticores. Now, we don't want to get too close to them, that'll upset them. But I believe, I'm using a mod that makes your explorers a little stronger, because I feel like it was too easy for explorers to die in the base game. We've got another Firaxis lander coming in here, which is the other player. My capital has grown, and we discovered some aliens nearby. We don't want to shoot the aliens if we can avoid it. And I want to save up to buy this tile. 12 turns until border growth. I think just focusing on growth early is fine. But if I were to switch to production here, that would shave off a few turns off that worker. Like, it would shave 3 turns off that worker while only losing 2 turns, well, a turn. Yeah, a turn off of our growth rate. So I think that's fine. We'll keep building that plantation. We might have to pop back to explore that fungus. And I don't mind standing in miasma early game. But yeah, the land in Beyond Earth is so bad that, like, getting early workers is so important to actually make it workable. The land is super not workable in this game. Okay, we've got that 4 food tile locked in. I'm going to jump up here to start cutting down the mine on this tile. That'll be nice. Keep exploring. If we chop this down, we will get 20 production for the city, which is nice. If we build a farm on it, it won't change the yield. If we build a mine, it'll lose 1 food but gain some production, which I like. Nice to have a production focused tile. I haven't found that many resource pods. I've actually found a lot less than I usually find. Usually I've found like 3 by now. Let's grab this second one. Ooh, we found a crashed satellite too. Free solar collector, now that's big. I will use this solar collector. It gives +1 energy on any tiles we own, and any city in range also receives a 20% energy boost. So free solar collector is huge. It's going to be a lot of money, all these tiles. Basically one cash per population in here. We have hit 3 pop. It's good. It's exciting. I'm worried about this big enemy unit. He like disappeared. He like moved and disappeared. That was crazy. We can do an expedition on this crashed satellite. I think I'm more interested in exploring early, so we'll hold off on that. Boom, boom. We got a quest decision. Do we want to domesticate the wildlife or eradicate? I think I'm going to look to domesticate the wildlife. So we need to build an alien preserve to complete this mission, which is cool. I think I prefer to be more chill with the aliens. Found a resource pod for 15 culture. That's great. And we got 15 science for completing the mission. Let's go ahead and develop a virtue. I'm a big fan of getting both mind over matter and eudaimonia pretty early, because I think just flat health helps your empire out a lot. There are like all of these trees are like super powerful. Like industry, 10% energy, 10% production, earn 1% of your stockpiled energy up to 100. Another 1%. Like you could go crazy with energy here, like +5 energy in the capital, +1 energy from every basic resource. You could do some crazy energy stuff down here. The problem is this tree lacks health until the end. So you struggle, like you do eventually get down to the place where you have a lot of health, but I like going for early foresight into field research and then getting pathfinders so my explorers can build extra expeditions. So I'm going to open up foresight. That's another 10% science for us, by the way, which kind of reinforces our early game plan of not expanding too much and just going kind of a one city early game. We've unlocked chemistry, so now we have access to submarines, which are an invisible ranged unit on the ocean. We also have laboratories, which is +2 science. We have the recycler, which is +2 production, access to the petroleum resource and petroleum well improvement. Let's have a look around. We found some petroleum over here. It's useful for certain, I believe certain spaceships that you can, certain orbital units can make use of petroleum as part of their launch cost. Found another resource pod, that's beautiful. I think Beyond Earth has some of the best exploration in the early game. Okay, nice, we found 23 research. We're gonna go ahead and improve this fiber over here. Now, I would like to get my explorer units. I want at least 3 explorers out on the map. So I'm gonna start recruiting those. Nice, a resource pod. We're gonna build a plantation on this. This will add +1 production to it. Let's lock that tile in. It's a great tile. That tile, this tile, and this tile are all fantastic. Cool. City is growing as well. Excellent. This is why we need those workers, right? We need to get these things built as fast as possible. All right, there's the mine. I'm gonna improve the copper next. That's a nice 3 production tile. But this tile is easily paying for the food cost of this tile, so I'm pretty chill with that. I don't mind this being a 0 food tile. Like, that's fine by me. I forgot to go pick up that resource pod, actually. Whoops. Let's go grab that. If we build a mine on the copper, it'll be +2 production and +1 gold, which will be nice. Although this isn't a strategic resource, it's just a basic one. We got another explorer. I'm going to send him north along the coast. And then I'm going to grab myself a patrol boat. They're a little bit expensive, but they have so much movement that they can find a lot of resource pods on the ocean. So I think they're very worth it. Looks like a player has landed down to my south. We are playing on the highest difficulty. I do want to make sure that that's clear. Found a resource pod and an alien nest on some floatstone. It's a little bit of a game changer. You go pick up that pod. Fuel resource, 60 energy, and we found a drone hive mind worn. Very cool. So this is the artifact library. We can either use a single artifact for a temporary boost, or if we group up 3 of them, we can gain like a permanent unique unlock, which is one of the coolest parts of the game in my opinion. I think that was put into the game with Rising Tide, the expansion. It's a sunken spacecraft here, which is cool. Let's grab this resource pod. There's 25 culture. So now I can do expeditions. Now I'll get 30 science when we do expeditions, which are these like crashed spaceship things, which is really, really cool. I'm going to put a farm on this tile because I want as many tiles that have high food production as possible so that I can justify working low food tiles. That's the idea there. I saw another player landing all the way over here. How much can I purchase? Yeah, I would like to purchase that old Earth relic if I could in a turn or 2. Why don't you pop in there? Do this expedition now that it's worth science. I need to get you away from these aliens. You hang around the nest too long, they might walk into you and hurt you. We've unlocked engineering, so we have the combat rover, just like a fast-moving land unit. They have the thorium reactor and the repair facility, as well as access to titanium. There is titanium over here. It's slightly out of reach of the city, which is sad, but it's a really good production resource. It's +3. It's also used for certain, I want to say unique units and certain orbital units as well. Oh yeah, let's jump in here, grab that resource pod. Perfect. And then we want to build a mine on this hill. I don't like that these guys are like chilling around my borders. Not a fan. All right, let's build a mine on that hill. Grab that resource pod. You got 15 culture. Excellent. Polypepter organic antifreeze, which is like an old Earth relic, and we can develop a virtue. Now we could go for social mores and laboratory these things, like and get extra 10% culture, but I want to go straight for mind over matter, so I'm going to take frugality. So 10% of the food will be retained in a city after a city's population grows, which kind of pushes us in the direction of growth. Since we actually have a pretty good early game growth build here, that's actually quite nice. And I do have the money now to purchase the old Earth relic. It's going to be +2 culture and +2 diplomatic capital. Diplomatic capital is kind of an interesting resource. And the interesting thing about diplomatic capital is that it's going to be coming back, right? In Civ 7, they have all these things. There's so much about the older Civ games. Like when you go back and you look at them, you can see their DNA. You could see the DNA of the franchise in Civ 7. And it's truly fascinating. My capital has grown again. Go ahead and jump in there. Joe ahead. We salvaged the wreckage of a bizarre sunken spacecraft, not of human origin. We got an interesting tech boost to transgenics. Now, transgenics, I think is over here. It's this tech over here. So we got 347 science towards this super late game technology. And you know, you might be familiar with that. That's like a Eureka. We just got a Eureka. Oh, you're kind of locked in here. And now I also want to get a combat rover because they're pretty good at exploring land. I need a bunch of units finding resource tiles. Need these aliens to go away. Hopefully I'm not encroaching on their land too much. They get upset. And people who played like Sid Meier's Colonization, the way the aliens get angry, the more negatively you interact with them, that's going to be super reminiscent of the mechanics from Sid Meier's Colonization, right? Where if you attack a Native American unit, they get mad. Like they change color and they start attacking you and burning your cities and stuff. So there's so much about Civilization Beyond Earth, and just Civ games is like baked in. Okay, resource pod. We found 91 science. Cool. I'm gonna build a farm on the water. What are we working? We're working that tile. I don't think we quite make enough food to justify working this. I'm gonna work this instead, although that is actually a pretty good tile for now. Yeah, city chooses pretty reasonable tiles to work, honestly. We've got a combat rover on the way. Getting early units is so big because the resource pods, they go quick. Got an expedition here too that we could do real quick. There we go. There's a resource pod. 91 research. Beautiful. And a collapsing family library. We can plug all three of these in and we would gain the Xenomass bathhouse. +2 culture and units would heal 100% of their health after one turn. But I kind of want to like see what other things we can find. So we could approve the Church of Dawn's Light. These are like city states, right? Food and culture or just culture. I like the idea of getting food and culture. So I'll approve them. I don't like where they settled because I wanted to settle here and you can't settle within 2 tiles of a station. So I'm kind of angry that they appeared there. I'm very angry that they appeared there. If they were 1 tile to the left, it would have been fine. Makes me want to blow them up. But you probably shouldn't blow up your city. You probably shouldn't blow up your first station or 2. Should probably trade with them. Okay, so here's my neighbor. This is going to be my main competitor because of how close they are. Like if someone is on the same screen as you with their capital in Beyond Earth, on a massive map, that's public enemy number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and construct an expedition here. It'll take 10 turns. I will heal this unit up first in case the aliens get a little antsy in their pantsy. And then I'm going to build a farm on this tile here. Let's keep on growing. I love growing big cities in Beyond Earth because it's really satisfying. All right, another resource pod. What do you got? 40 energy, nothing else. Go ahead and do that expedition. We want to be very thorough in our exploration because there are resource pods everywhere. Like this planet was seeded with resources for the eventual colonization. Also, I love the lore. Like there's so much cool lore with Beyond Earth. I really think this game, I hope they do a sequel using Civ 7's gameplay mechanics like to build it. So we're not going to be doing our expeditions yet. There's computing, or rather we just got a quest to research computing and we are working on it. All the science boosting we're getting, even though computing is a relatively expensive tech, because we're getting some of these science boosts, it's actually not taking us that long to unlock it. Yeah, you're healing up, although you don't have expedition modules, so there is no point for you to heal up there. So we found a giant marvel, so we need to clean up some giant fungi. And when we do that, we will discover the giant fungi quest line. I've never actually completed any of the giant, like the big quest lines that you can get in the game. So let's start thinking about our next cities. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3. The closest you can settle is 3 tiles away. And it's a question like, do we want to settle really densely? Or do we want to like sparse ourselves out a little bit? I reckon a settlement here is like pretty okay. Boom, boom, boom. Like they would share some tiles, but... So I'm thinking of building a road to here with my worker. Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri fans would call them formers. I've actually been kind of unlucky because usually you would get production boosts from the resource pods, which would make building your explorers even faster. I normally have way better luck than this with resource pods. This has been an exceptionally unlucky game for me. We have all of our tiles improved, which is great. Very, very improved capital, which I like. Let's keep exploring. Remember, we're up against a very competitive AI because they have a lot of bonuses. We found more alien nests. We are going to eventually want to clear some of those nests. There are important scientific reasons that we want to do that. So we're still waiting for computing. While we're waiting for computing, I'm going to build a laboratory for the +2 science. It'll take 9 turns. You could make an argument for more units, but I think we're pretty close to our unit cap. If we build any more units, we'll start taking penalties to our empire. There's a maximum number of units you can have. I think it's based on the number of cities or how well developed your empire is. And you want to be careful not to go above it. There is a resource pod there. I'm exploring with my rover. Beautiful, another resource pod. Let's just hope our little scout guys are not shot. We just met Han J. Moon. He's another player. We want to explore away from him. So now we're going to start exploring away. Let's grab that resource pod. There we go. 50 energy. Awesome. Grab this resource pod. 40 energy. Awesome. Another resource pod. Yes. This is why we make the rovers. This is why you make units. We found some survivors in a derelict settlement. Amazing. +1 population and an impossible drive. So now if we start like flipping around the combinations, like here's a Xenomass bathhouse, but if I switch this and this, now we can get the warp spire, which increases yields from domestic trade routes. And if I do this, we get the pan-spectral observatory, which is 100% production for orbital units and +2 city orbital strike range. That's crazy. That's a crazy building, but we want to find better than that. We don't need to lock those in just yet. I love farms. I love farming. Yeah, I love farming in this game. I think farming is awesome. Now, I don't want to, like, in order to restore these expedition modules, you have to bring your dudes home. And I don't like doing that because I think it takes up too much of their time. So instead, I like to keep them out exploring so that we can find as many resource pods as possible. But we are really close to getting computing, which is going to be big for us. We can develop another virtue, and the free worker is really nice. And we need to take the free worker in order to get the Pathfinder's ability. So I will take that. That's partially why I wanted to keep the number of worker, like the number of units I have down, is because we're going to be getting a couple of free units here through exploration of the virtue trees. Okay, you're a little trapped in between some aliens here. Can you zip over here to somewhere safe? Grab this resource pod. There's 40 energy plus a media mark media cube. Drone command. Now, drone command is one of the coolest buildings in the entire game. Basically, imagine you get robot workers. So like if a city has 7 population, it can work 7 tiles. The drone command lets you work 9 tiles. Like, it's super, super cool. One of the coolest buildings in the entire game. One of my favorite ones. So now we have completed research and computing, and our goal is to research or to build a spy agency. This gives us access to the missile rover, the spy agency, and the network. We have some upgrades available. Let's upgrade our soldiers. I'm going to upgrade them to heal when not embarked. And my patrol boats, I'm going to upgrade to have plus 20 combat strength against naval melee. So that will make my cutter over here, this guy, he's now quite a bit stronger. So he's less likely to lose when fighting aliens. There we go, another 40 energy. That's very cool. Keep exploring. The aliens can serve as a pretty hefty barrier to your exploration efforts. Some nice gold over here too. So now we need to pick up pioneering so that we can start building colonists to actually settle cities. In Central, I'm going to use my gold to purchase a clinic, because the clinic will give us extra health as well as +1 science, which is nice. Actually, the recycler would be +2 production. Yeah, I'm gonna buy the recycler. +2 production is nice across an entire city, but you don't have a whole lot of sources of production anyway. Make sure you're focused on food for now. Food is more important than production in the short term. We're going to get to work on the spy agency, and now we're going to tell the city to focus on production. We'll get it in 13 turns. And now we want to start meeting other players. The other thing we might want to consider is actually upgrading our diplomatic abilities here. We got +4 food from discovering Omoi Kane. So if I manage my personality traits, I can upgrade corporate espionage so that my covert operations are done even another 10% faster. This is very, very powerful, right? Because if we're going to be stealing money from other players, if we steal an extra 10% faster, like that adds up over the course of a whole game. Another resource pod, there's 50 energy, beautiful. I think I'm going to use my artifacts to make the drone command. We'll get 9 science and 9 production out of it, but most importantly, we got the drone command, which is a building that I can, in theory, purchase for 680 gold. Yeah, genuinely, normally I have a much better early game for exploration. This has been an exceptionally bad early game. And it hasn't even been that bad. That's the crazy thing about this game. I'm going to take some time to heal up on this guy. Their resource pods, alien nests. We are going to have to start clearing those alien nests for resources soon. Give me this. Some energy. Beautiful. Okay. Now that we've researched pioneering, we need to build a colonist unit to succeed in that quest. We have access to colonists, the trade depot, which will allow us to start establishing trade routes, and trade convoys, which is kind of cool. I actually really like the trade system in this game. I think it's really cool, and they should have maybe incorporated more of the trade system from this game into Civ 6, maybe even Civ 7. I don't know. They have redesigned the trade system, but we'll see how that shakes out. So we do have a quest to build alien preserves. So I'm thinking we might go genetics down to alien preserves. Plus, I like getting the culture. Genetics also gives you a lot of health. So I'm going to go genetics into alien life forms to get the alien preserve for that quest. It'll also mean that if we get enough harmony affinity, we can actually leash alien units using our scouts, which gives them a sort of mid to late game use to generate a military for us. All right, let's grab this pod. There's 40 energy. 6 turns until we get the central spy agency, which I am really excited for. Stupid scarabs in my way of getting to this pod. Why are you there? The hell out of my way, aliens. Don't you know I've got a planet to dominate and colonize? Damn you. All right, plus 50 energy. Lovely. I'll build a paddock here now. Perfect. We've grown to the chitin. It's a nice food tile. So the spy agency is about to be finished, which means we can start stealing money from our opponents, and our spies will start to level up, which is fantastic. So there's the quest. We get nothing for finishing it just yet, but we will over time. There's Polystralia, not to be confused with Bystralia. I'm going to go for operation support so my agents have less risk. I don't want to assign them in my own land. I want to put them in the capitals of my opponents, and I want to spread them out so I sort of spread the misery. So they'll take 5 turns to get established when they're traveling there. Okay, so if we were to grow in 5 turns in this city, I could spend 6 turns working on a trade depot and then switch to productivity to make colonists, which I think I will do. Okay. So I'm going to build a trade depot in here, and I'm going to look to grow in 5 turns. And then once we have the trade depot, we'll switch to settling. It is quite a late settle, but that's not as big of a deal in Alpha Centauri. Right, so what's this quest? Clean the giant fungi. Interesting. All right, we met Suzanne Fielding from Integer. God, I've had such an unlucky early game. Normally I have a way better luck than this. I know I've said that like a million, I know I've said that so many times, but man, it does not feel good. Normally I do be rocking in the free world, if you know what I mean. So we can get a 10% worker speed boost or +1 food from recyclers. I'll take the food from recyclers. I like growth. Let's go ahead and switch to production so we can shave a couple of turns off that trade depot. We'll finish the trade depot in 2 turns, plus we'll grow in 2 turns. You can't grow while you're building colonists. So this lines this up really nicely. I don't like that this guy is settling towards me. It means I have to like focus my settlement to the south. I did want to settle north a little bit, but we'll focus most of our settlements to the south and southeast. Because it doesn't seem like there's anyone in my way down there. I may settle like a buffer city, 1, 2, 3. Like here with the mountain range, it's like I think this could be a pretty good buffer city. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep people kind of out. Keep them from getting too close, which I like. Yeah, this is where I need those expedition modules. Normally I get so much more culture. I'm struggling here. Oh, resource pod, yes. Okay, there's 15 culture, amazing. The second I started whining about it, it started happening for me. Oh, sick. Okay, this lined up perfectly. We can now get ourselves colonists in here. You are on production focus, which is excellent. Building colonists in 5 turns. We have a quest decision. We can get free maintenance from Earth relics or a +1 culture. Usually I get that +1 culture way earlier into the game too. The little narrative events. Oh man, look how many expeditions are here. If only I had the expedition module thing already. Just simply don't have it yet. I could clear that nest, but it would piss off the aliens, and I don't want to piss them off because I want to be chill with them. Oh shoot, it's covert ops time. So we get established network. We are going to do this because it counts as a mission, which gives your agents a chance to level up, I believe. It's a safe way to level them up. All right, let me jump into the water with this explorer. Oh yes, 60 research. There we go. Now we're finding stuff. A fungal thing that we can clear. Boom, excavate giant fungus. We hath cleaned it. I reckon we'll be settling here as well. I'll be probably settling a bunch of coastals. So I'll start building a trade route to this tile too. A nice road. I am not ignoring my cultural growth. Samatar Bar. How dare you? All right, nice. Yes, 70 energy. Beautiful. Okay. Cool. Making great progress. Making progress. We discovered adept blue all the way over here. That's fine. We can develop yes, pathfinders +3 additional expeditions, and we need 2 more prosperity buffs to get a 10% growth boost in every city, and those 2 will be gift economy and mind over matter for that +7 health. Amazing. I'm excited. Can you tell I'm excited? All right, head back and start excavating for me, please, sir. Should be close to upgrading our agents. Yeah, 165 diplomatic capital to do that. Our agents have been undetected in their missions, so now we're going to start stealing money. We have 72 energy, 65% chance of success, 36% chance of survival. Not exactly our best odds we've ever seen, but we will take it. What choice do I have? All right, excavate this satellite for me, please. You go touch that fungus. What a strange mission to be given by your dear leader. So we can contain the outbreak of plants. And I always like to go more of a harmony. I've just always been like a let's get along. I'm always a let's get along kind of guy. You know, let's be chill with the aliens. Okay, I have a quest now to found an outpost. Pretty deep into the game, I must say. And here's the thing, I don't really care about playing the game well. I'm here to just chill. And Beyond Earth feels like the kind of game you can actually chill play. It's one of that's the biggest innovation is that it may actually be the only Civ game that you can chill play. That's where I'll give it a lot of credit. So Central finished a colonist. I'm going to use, well, I don't want to get a trader just yet, but I'll grab myself another explorer because there's expeditions to be done. I think the +2 production or +1 production from trade depots is huge. We'll take that production. Production is king. It's always king. I always love that the buildings had like little quests associated with them. You could like level them up. It's just a neat gameplay mechanic. There's so much about Beyond Earth that's neat. That feels fun to interact with. Oh, hello, resource pod. And I just like that I don't feel pressured to get my first city out. Like I feel pressured by this guy settling towards me, but I don't feel pressured like the game is like, oh, I'm going to lose if I don't get my cities out. Like, because of how rewarding early game exploration is, like, I actually feel like I got stiffed this game, but usually I do pretty well. Now, there was expeditions and stuff we wanted to do, right? There was like a crashed, this down here, go do that. Let's settle this outpost, okay? We get a free soldier, just park you in that city, that's fine. Ooh, resource pod, yes. 60 research. I'll put the soldier to sleep in Central. You pop up there. In Central, I'm going to purchase a trade convoy, and I'm also going to quickly grab another colonist. We need to get these cities out, man. So there's alien life forms. We have access to the alien preserve. We also got level 2 harmony. Trade routes can be made through the miasma. We get +1 culture per level of harmony or purity. We get +1 science per level of supremacy or harmony. That's if we have combined affinities. It's really cool. Our affinities looks like this. So we have just trade routes through miasma. No other abilities right now, but we can get some upgrades. And importantly, we can upgrade our explorers here. I'm going to say take the 20% combat strength when defending. I want my explorers to be a little bit stronger. That's a unique thing that I installed the mod for, which I'm a big fan of. Gunboat here. Make sure you're strong against sea units. We are probably gonna have to have some ocean warfare. So I wish I could like search for espionage stuff. Like, I don't know how to get more spies. Genetic design could be an interesting choice here. You get +2 health. It can give you a lot of health, especially if you go the xenomass route. We would want to learn alien sciences. Biochemistry is also amazing because we get access to the water refiner, which gives us extra production from water tiles. Can be extremely useful. Ecology is quite good. The vivarium is +2 food, allows you to grow your cities quite well. So I probably will go for that route. All right, let's put a mine on the hill. We're going to use this trader to trade with Axiom, the new outpost, right? Right now it's taking 3 turns for it to grow, and it needs to grow 6 times or 5 times for it to become a fully fledged city. So if we can shave time off of that growth, it will become a fully fledged city a lot faster. And that's kind of something I like. I like that you had a way of, your cities didn't just plonk down and they appeared. There was a kind of actual process they had to go through to become cities. Okay, we dredged into a sunken vehicle, bizarre alien tech. We got 30 culture from it, which is nice. I'm going to fortify that marine in my base. I will explore this fungus. I think that's 3 of the 6 fungus we need to... Let's see. We've cleaned 2 of the 5. We need to clean 5. I think, though, this is a good place to end, right? We spent a little bit of time. We got our early game strategy going, and now we're stealing money en masse from our opponents. And we're going to be making a lot of money when these spies level up. And we've just started our expansion plan. So I'm going to call that the end of the video. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!